Welcome to another lesson on our unit on commas. Today we're going to begin to put some of the stuff we've been doing together between coordinating conjunctions and independent clauses and how we use commas to put it all together. So let's backtrack a little bit. Remember when we talked about fanboys, the different types of coordinating conjunctions? Take a moment, see if you can remember every conjunction that fanboys stands for. All right, just work your way down. We have for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. These are our coordinating conjunctions that will help us to figure out where and when to use commas. So again, always remember fanboys and you'll be good. Remember independent clauses? An independent clause contains a subject, a verb, and a complete thought. Like we said in one of the previous lessons, basically an independent clause could be a sentence. It has a subject, it has a verb, it has a complete thought. It's a sentence. Here's where we begin to kind of put all of this together. So you use a comma before a fanboy when it joins two or more independent clauses. All right, again, I'll say that one more time. You use a comma before a fanboy when it joins two or more independent clauses. So take a look at this example. Zach pressed the button and the engine started up. All right. Identify the two independent clauses in here. You have Zach pressed the button, and then you have the fanboy and then you have another independent clause, the engine started up. Both Zach pressed the button and the engine started up are independent clauses. They could both be sentences on their own. Since we join them with the coordinating conjunction and, we add a comma before the coordinating conjunction. Take a look at this example. Are you going to the football game, or do you have other plans for Saturday? First, identify the two independent clauses in there. Well, the first one, right, are you going to the football game? And then we have the coordinating conjunction, the fanboy, or, and then we have another independent clause. Do you have other plans for Saturday? So where do you think we're going to put the comma? It needs to go in front of, before the coordinating conjunction, in this case, or. So we have, are you going to the football game, comma, or do you have other plans for Saturday? Now, look out. Remember, this rule only applies when you have two independent clauses. It has to be two independent clauses joined by a fanboy. If it doesn't, fulfill that requirement, then you don't use the comma. So look at this example. Andre cleared the table and did the dishes. Are we going to put a comma in the sentence? Well, hopefully you said no, because we have one independent clause, Andre cleared the table. Then we have the fanboy and, but then we have this clause, did the dishes. Did the dishes is not an independent clause. It's a subordinate clause. In other words, did the dishes cannot be a sentence on its own. So therefore, we don't need a comma before the coordinating conjunction. This sentence is correct as it is. But if I just make one little change in there, Andre cleared the table and Nick did the dishes. In this case, I have two independent clauses. Andre cleared the table is the first independent clause. Nick did the dishes is the second independent clause. And I have and as the coordinating conjunction. So I'm going to put a comma in front of the coordinating conjunction. Why? Because I'm joining two independent clauses with a coordinating conjunction, a fanboy. Let's practice a few of these together. The boss shouted, so the worker stopped. Look for the fanboy. Do we have a fanboy? Yes, we do. So is a fanboy. Now look at both sides of the fanboy. Are there independent clauses on both sides of the fanboy? The boss shouted. Yep, that's an independent clause. The workers stopped. That's an independent clause. So in this case, we're going to put a comma right in front of the fanboy so. What about this example? They understood, but he did not. Again, find the fanboy. It's but. And now look at both sides of it. They understood. Yep, that's an independent clause. He did not. That's an independent clause. So we put the comma right in front of the fanboy, but. He fixed the transmission yet still broke down. Look for the fanboy. Hopefully you've identified it as yet. Look at one side. He fixed the transmission. Look at the other side. Still broke down. All right, in this case, you'll notice on the other side of the fanboy, still broke down, we don't have an independent clause. So in this case, we don't need a comma. The sentence itself is correct. The test will neither be easy nor difficult. Find the fanboy. Right, in this case, the fanboy is nor. So now let's look at both sides. The test will neither be easy, all right, nor or difficult. Well, neither one of those qualify. This doesn't qualify because we don't have two independent clauses. So in this case, no comma is necessary. How about this one? The donuts were gone and he got none. The fanboy here is, hopefully you said and. And look at one side, the donuts were gone, independent clause. He got none, independent clause. So we put a comma in front of and. And finally, let's look at one last one. She had to go to extra help or fail the class. Well, we find the fanboy, it's or. And now look at both sides. She had to go to extra help. Independent clause. Fail the class. Not an independent clause. So therefore, this sentence is correct the way it is, and we don't need a comma. Again, to summarize, we use a comma when we have two or more independent clauses joined by a fanboy. All right, we'll go over this a little further in class tomorrow. If you still have any questions, please email me or save the questions for class tomorrow. Thanks.